Welcome, welcome. We're about to be getting into the first games of today. It's going to be Lafayette versus Stevens, and yeah, it should be a good match here. We're getting into draft phase right now. As you can see, we have Weaponized in the top lane, Adrian actually in the jungle. We have number 2 Ginger at the mid lane, always a staple in that mid lane. Milvis starting instead of Nixon in the bot lane, as well as Fizzles at support. Against on the Lafayette side, we have Foolish. In top lane, Glass Paper. In jungle, Snoopy789 mid. And Carnies and Saves Easy Rot in the bot lane. Already off the board, Aatrox, Anivia, and Kled from the side of Stevens. And Elise and Rek'Sai on the side of Lafayette. Just some standard bans going out, of course, targeting that jungler very heavily. Adrian is known to have a slightly weaker champion pool than most other junglers, so hoping that they can get him off of a comfort pick very early here. Snoopy targeted with that Anivia ban, as well as their top laner who, again, plays that Aatrox and Kled fairly well, so looking to ban out some of those comfort picks from him as well. Additionally, so I think the stream actually just loaded up for everyone, so again, as everyone's tuning in, welcome, welcome. So into the first picks from the draft, we have Echo for the side of Stevens and Mordekaiser and Volibear on the side of Lafayette. Pretty interesting pick, I'd say, in the Volibear. Not really a staple in the competitive metagame right now. However, can be very, very effective in the right hands, and Glass Paper is hoping that he can maybe give a little bit of a boost to this champion. On Stevens' side, Gangplank being picked as well as a Vladimir. Very, very good scaling on the side of Stevens right now. Gangplank, especially after that Trinity Force and even later into the game, after he starts building that crit strike up, is a very, very, very difficult person to handle. So that should be going to the top lane right now. However, the mid flex is possible. Vladimir, most likely in the hands of Ginger. A lot of practice on that champion for him. A lot of games in solo queue as well. As we see the Zillion as the last pick of Lafayette's first draft. Into the second phase of bans. As you can see, Aphelios was banned in the first phase, so no pick out of the Stevens bot lane yet. However, Misfortune is coming off the board for Milvis. um, Anyways, into the second phase of bans, obviously MF already off the board, Kaisa coming off as well. A lot of those top tier ADCs have been made off the board, unavailable in this game, so it should be interesting to see what ADCs get pulled out. Maybe a Xayah from either side. She's sort of one of those top tier ADCs in terms of competitive play still that has not been taken off the board. Sivir as well taken off the board, and now Caitlyn, so another ADC off the board. 4 ADCs, 5 ADCs with Aphelios off the board now, as the ADCs are going to be forced to pick their champions, so should be interesting to say the least. Carnelis looking for a pick here. Tristana is his choice, being locked in on that side, and now 2 picks are going over to Stevens Esports, as they do get to respond to this bot lane pick a little bit. That Zillion in the mid lane on Snoopy's side can be flexed to support as well, so we are looking to see where he actually puts that Zillion. So the first pick here is going to be the Vayne on Milvis, and Fizzless to support that probably want something a lot tankier here. Maybe something like an Alistar, like a Leona. Anything that has very good engage, very good CC, that can peel that Vayne and make sure that they get to that sort of scaling late game. On the side of Lafayette, they have slightly better early game champions in that Tristana, in that Volibear. Mordekaiser always good at any point in the game. However, we are going to have to see the support pick here, maybe to counter that Ornn. So as I was saying, They do have that flex pick opportunity in the bot lane. So as you see, this Zillion is going to be flexed to the bot lane, perhaps. As you see the Azir pick, so definitely getting flexed to that bot lane. The Zillion. So yeah, Azir into the mid lane now, and Azir actually doesn't have the best matchup into that Vlad either. Vlad can pull under his ult, so again, it'll be very interesting to see. Vlad does have a lot of scaling potential, and again, just Steven's team in general, very, very heavy scaling. As we hop into the game, we can see Dark Harvest on the Echo. Again, another very good scaling rune. Classic Gangplank Grasp, very strong for trading in lane. Vladimir with that phase rush just to give him a little bit more escape in that mid lane. Vayne, standard, press the attack, obviously synergizes very well with her W silver bolts. Ornn with the aftershock to make a lot more tanky in those 2v2 trades. Tristana actually opting for lethal tempo here. Press the attack is usually considered, especially since if you get that stack off on them, they'll take a lot more damage from your E, which is the bomb. However, press the attack opted for maybe to get a little bit more charges on that bomb before it goes off. Zillion with Airy, obviously very nice whenever you ult someone, they get a shield, E someone, they get a shield, so always helpful. Azir also running lethal tempo here, so a lot of auto attackers, especially with Volibear as well, so this Ornn maybe, if he gets that Thornmail, can be very, very tanky as a support here, especially with that really good engage too. Wouldn't be too much that would be able to stop him. So we'll have to see what they build as we get into the game. Something to note, Adrian's first start here in the jungle on the Stevens team actually. After a recent incident with our jungler, we decided Adrian was going to be the best option moving forward, at least for this week. And yeah, it should be good to see him have his first career start for Stevens. So we are starting to load into the rift. As you see, everyone is now loaded in and getting ready to get off the block. Finally start the game. I know I'm excited, you guys should be excited too. Zillion throws out that Q, Mastery is flashed, and we are off into the rift. Looks like an early invade might be coming out here from Stevens. A ping does drop onto the enemy blue buff. Not much going on though, maybe going into more of a 5-point. As you see, teams both spread out into the rift.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
Stevens in that sort of pseudo 5-point as well. All entrances covered of that jungle. However, for the red team, there actually is no one in that mid lane, deciding to instead drop 2 into that sort of bottom brush, just in case they do get an invade. A little bit of commotion on the top side here as Echo runs into their jungle to secure a ward on that red buff. Azir forced to back off as 3v1 is not something he would like to take. And other than that, no real aggression in this early game, so I definitely would consider that a win for Stevens, as they do scale much better. Their level 1 is also fairly weak when you compare it to, say, Zillion, Tristana, and Azir. So definitely good that nothing came of that. Finally, Wade's getting hit in the mid lane here. A little bit of poke coming out from both sides as Azir does get traded into fairly heavily early. Vayne and Ornn finish the leech for the Echo in this jungle. Fairly healthy clear on Echo's side. He has fallen off a little bit with some of the recent nerfs. However, he is still a very, very top tier champion in this jungle right now. As now in the bot lane, a little bit of trading going back and forth. Zillion does have a very, very strong range advantage over the Ornn, obviously. So he's going to be looking to abuse that as much as possible. Gangplank gets a very heavy trade. That Trial by Fire passive is very, very strong in the trading, especially with that Grasp. Vladimir getting zoned off a little bit of CS here with that range advantage from Azir. CS being traded in this bot lane. Bot lane looking to go in now. They do have that level 2 advantage over Stevens. Billion Bomb does not hit. Level 2 gotten back by Stevens. Tristana knocked up near the tower. Very dangerous. Vayne going to get that silver bolt and press the attack proc off, and that is a ton of damage onto this Tristana very early. Has to blow that pot, as you can see. And definitely good for the Stevens bot lane. They are very, very ahead now in terms of HP. This Vayne is full health with her pot still, so very good. Hitting level 2, recognizing that Tristana is caught out. As Ornn takes the CS out of Milvis's hands, saying, no, we do not want you to get that CS, so maybe a little bit of gold down now. Up 3 CS, but did miss the cannon while Tristana hits it, so Tristana is getting away pushed into her, as well as Vlad is getting pushed phase into her as well. Not able to secure that melee minion under tower. However, a lot of waves bouncing back. Gangplank has a huge wave pushing in that top side. As we see, Volibear is going into his bottom jungle now, as he has already secured that top scuttle, so should be able to actually get that top scuttle off onto the Echo. Echo doesn't really have a reason to play it too aggressive, as he doesn't know his lanes lose very early. Gangplank, Vlad, and Vayne are all very, very heavily scaling lanes. So no real need to contest these scuttles early. As we see in this bot lane though, Voli is going for a gank here, is able to catch that Ornn. However, Vayne is going to condemn his flash. And this is absolutely a disaster for Lafayette, unable to get exactly what they wanted. They do get the Vayne flash and Vayne heal, however that is a lot of wasted time, and that means that Echo, as you can see, is going into this topside jungle. The camps have just respawned, and now Voli is going to be a very precarious situation here. Now they're going to have any sort of help here, and then Dillion does look like he will die here. Flashes, but the auto attack trails, and that is going to be first blood for Stevens Esports. Up a hefty 800 gold now at just 4 minutes, and that is going to be a huge, huge misplay from Lafayette. Unable to actually flash that auto attack, and Vayne is going to very, very much appreciate that 400 gold in her pocket. As we see, Vlad is going to be pushing in this mid lane here, looking for this back in this bot lane, trying to push this wave in before they get it, and it does look like they are able to push this in. Hopefully get that bounce off the turret for Stevens. And they do get it actually, so this wave will be freezing, or pushing rather, for into Stevens, so. Discord. Don't know what that means, but Discord it is. Discord it is, Tarkin Meteor Boy. Let's see what he means. Anyways, we have the Vlad in this mid lane, just farming right now. It is fairly even, 40-1 to 41 in CS. Very even in that mid lane. Top lane is also fairly even as well. Gangplank does have that extra back onto Mordekaiser, however, does have that Sheen already in his possession, so sort of an early game power spike for that Gangplank, able to actually clear that wave much better, as his E proc does spread to all minions with that extra bonus damage. So definitely looking to get a good push here in this top lane. In this bot lane, however, Ornn is getting absolute work done here, as Tristana getting caught by that Gangplank ult as well. A lot of damage comes out, unable to secure the kill, but that is again a lot of damage that's going to force this bot lane back for the 3rd time this game. In 6 minutes, that is not what you want to see from a very early game bot lane, so looking very, very, very hard for Lafayette right now, with their sort of early game potential really going to waste. Gangplank trading into this Mordekaiser, pulled by that root, but unable to get anything finished off of it. That Mordekaiser not able to do anything. Vayne is going to clear that Warden. Maybe they're looking for Dragon here. However, there is going to be engagement with Volibear in this jungle. They do see him in that bot side, as this wave is going to be pushing in favor of Vlad. Going to be able to actually secure a lot of CS here on the bounce, as no one actually goes for the drag, just sort of backs off. He does get a shove though, and he is going to be looking for his back here. That will be his first back of the game. Only using one of those 2 pots he does buy with his Doran's ring, so. However, he does actually back off of that back, trying to get a little bit more priority for their jungler on the mountain ring. They know that Stevens isn't there. They saw the backs come out. They have no Gangplank ult. This is going to be a very, very quick dragon here. Assuming that Echo does not go for a steal. Oh, Echo does go for a steal, and it is a miss smite there. I think he believed that the smite would actually come out from that. However, Steven is looking for a collapse here. Light ult back in. Vayne is going to get the he's going to get that stun onto the Volibear, and now Tristana is in a little danger. Has to W out. And that's going to be a very, very clean fight for Steven. Still unable to secure the dragon, but that is a lot of gold into their hands now. 2 more kills into their horn, unfortunately. But however, that is still going to get them a lot more levels and EXP toward getting those upgraded horn items. In this mid lane, obviously, you see this Azir poking and poking this Vlad out, but has very good sustain. He's actually going to take his first back here, maybe. He knows that this wave is going to freeze on his side. As you see Echo maybe looking for something in this bot lane. Very underleveled in the bot lane. This is level 6 on both of these players for Stevens. However, 5 and 4 only on Tristana and Zilean, so not exactly what they wanted at all. However, they are going to get a nice wave of CS to catch back into them. Tristana did get that BF sword on her first back anyway, so not the worst scenario. However, the Bilgewater Cutlass is now online for this Vayne. Should be getting that board very, very soon. Blade of the Ruined King. And, you know, this is exactly what Stevens really wants. They want to be able to control that early game just enough to the point where they can kind of get into this late game scale very well. However, Volley is doing a little sneaky blue buff steal here. Able to get it with that Q, and now he is looking maybe for this top lane dive. Mordekaiser is level 8. Does have that ultimate available, and it looks like he'll just be going for the Scuttlecraft instead. As mid pushes in, Vlad does have Prio, and Echo is going to find him doing this Grom. Does smite it. However, Gangplank is on the watch now. Maybe looking for this Volibear. Echo is behind, however, so he is not going to be able to do anything other than, you know, say a you know, good wave to him and, you know, bid him adieu. Echo is looking for something in this mid lane, gets the W down, almost catches Azir, however, not able to get that reach on his W to sort of get that stun. Vlad, very good trade into Azir, however. With that empowered Q, you always have to be watching out for that empowered Q on Vlad. Might be looking for an ultimate here, just a little bit out of kill range right now. Maybe able to get it, and the barrier comes down way too early, and he's going to die, I think, here. Absolutely, he does die, and that is a solo kill from number 2 Ginger in the mid lane. Not at all what you want to see from that barrier. A lot of damage from that Zilean. However, there is the Echo here now looking to dive. His W comes down. The Ornhorn is coming in, and that is a 2-man knockup. Gangplank all comboed as well. The Tristana does get the revive, but Zilean is made short work of. Tristana uses the R to knock both people out. She does get the R. Very, very good R by Tristana to save her. However, that is going to be a kill. A lot of ults expended by Stevens. Volibear is coming to help this tower now, but might be a little too late as the gold lead has grown to 4,000 gold in Stevens' favor on this very late game scaling comp. So this is not at all, again, what Lafayette wants to see so early. As we sort of have Stevens not only winning early game, but also being the better scaling team. Azir, obviously a very good scaler himself, but he's going to be unable to sort of compete with all of these really heavy late game scalers. You know, this Vlad, this Gangplank, this Vayne are going to be incredibly big threats for this Lafayette team. So very interesting to see how they actually try to come back from this gold deficit right now, as it has narrowed to around 3,000 gold as waves get caught. The Echo actually is fairly behind in gold, unfortunately here, around 18 CS down, which is maybe a kill of CS, while he only has 3 assists to back it up, which is around 150 gold. So again, Foley does have the jungle advantage, so he could be playing through that. However, Echo does look like he has a catch here. It's going to be caught in this stun, and now this Vlad and this Bullet Bear are getting into each other. Echo not able to get the kill there, but a lot of damage done onto this Bullet Bear. He is going to keep taking his camps, but now Azir is actually forced to give up that wave mid, as Ornn now starts to roam. Mordekaiser is there too. Azir is going to be able to get the kill onto the Vladimir, and now Mordekaiser ults the Echo. Echo going to go into his W while Orn tries to knock up this Azir. He does, and he's going to get the Brittle proc, and gets the Brittle proc, gets the kill, and Mordekaiser flashes forward, trying to catch his Echo. Echo flashing away. Gangplank also very low, looking for this, but maybe Orn is going to collapse from behind here. Orn able to get the Brittle stack onto him too, and that does look like it should be a kill for Stevens. Gangplank going to get that with the Grasp proc in the empowered Q, and now Volibear is running for his life. Echo playing very aggressive, trying to get this, forces Volibear to waste a little more time, and the Grasp proc on that Q again comes and sends Volley to his demise. A ton of gold over to Stevens, making up for that early Vlad kill. Vlad actually did have flash there, but maybe thought he wasn't going to be able to make it out regardless, so chooses not to use that flash. But now the gold lead is back at 5,000 gold, so that is another huge lead. One mountain drag over to the side of Lafayette, which is good for them. However, this very, very important second drag could mean a lot, obviously. The more drags you have to take away from Stevens, the harder it is going to be for them to scale, and the less the gold difference is going to mean, as those drags do give you a lot of stats after the changes. Cloud Drag especially would be very useful for champions like Zillion, trying to get that, that very, very short ult cooldown. Especially in stuff like Mordekaiser, where your ult isn't going to be up in every fight you sort of want to take. You definitely want that Cloud Drag, so it looks like Demon is going to be prioritizing this Cloud Drag as Azir does get the blue buff. Demon is almost finished with the Cloud Drag, and it looks like there won't even be a contest here. As Gangplank fights in the top side, maybe looking for something in this mid lane, Stevens is, but not really going to find much. Maybe just going to reset after sort of a very, very good sort of few minutes for them. Hoping to sort of buy those items and, again, start getting back to that scaling. However, they choose not to reset, and they are going for this Herald. Now, you have to realize that this is after 15 or 14 minutes, so there is going to be no play gold for this, but that that first tower gold is going to be very, very big as they do pick it up. Azir is going to use that passive, does push, but Vladimir is that W that I was talking about, just able to get right under it, and Vlad is going to be able to do a ton of damage to that Volibear, and he does just absolutely slaughter. Now, relating under tower onto this Tristana, heal comes out, and she does live, and that is going to be huge. There's two towers down in the mid lane, maybe bot lane dropping for Lafayette as well, and they are in an absolute panic mode here, as Stevens has gone up 9,000 gold on them. Absolutely insane turn of events, as that 5,000 gold deficit grows even wider with a fraction of a second. Now Vladimir is roaming up to this top side, stealing Gangplank's solo gold, and they are going to be able to push this wave in as well. Gold lead just keeps growing and growing. 10,000, 20, it could be growing and growing. There's 20,000 to 30,000 gold right now, and that is not looking good at all. Say an average finished item costs around 2,500 gold. That's going to be 4 finished items on the side of Stevens over Lafayette, and that is a lot of difference in stats. And that's without the fact even that Stevens is just going to be scaling much better than this Lafayette team. So again, this is exactly what Lafayette does not want to see, and this is exactly what Stevens does want to see. Obviously, very, very fed Vayne, has those 2 kills, has that Blade of the Ruin King, has those Berserker's Greaves, probably sitting on a decent amount of gold as well. In the top lane, Gangplank has finished that Trinity Force, does have Merc Treads, to sort of counter that that Mordekaiser, and this is just an absolute slaughter right now. Tristana getting caught by the Ornn right now. Going in, Brittle Stack is procced, however, Tristana does jump out. Maybe Ornn caught now. Maybe a little too overzealous here. Does get ignited, however, Gangplank is now here. Volibear destroying the barrel just in time before he is able to pop that, and they are able to escape with their lives. However, that is a very good trade for Steven. Tristana obviously fairly low. If she can sort of heal that up from that passive bloodline, she will be okay, but it just shows you the sort of aggression that Stevens can afford to take now that they have that huge gold advantage. And in this top side, Vlad is not scared at all anymore. Look at that damage from his Q. He is just going to be absolutely a beast late game, and there isn't much you can do to stop a fed Vlad late game. He has that pool to get out of any sticky situation, and You know, they are going to be looking to make these sort of plays. Echo does get that third proc. That W passive. Vlad going in under tower now. Gets ulted by the Mordekaiser. Flash blown off of the Volibear. And look at this. Vlad absolutely destroyed Mordekaiser in that 1v1. Nilvis gets another kill here too. And now the inhib tower does not look very safe. As Steven does have a wave coming in right now to sort of, guide them into this tower. Inhib could fall very early in this game. Now, one thing to note is that it's not always good to take the inhib tower so early, especially at 18 minutes. You have to be looking for an end with that inhibitor tower, or with that inhibitor gone rather, unless you could risk, or you could risk a lot of gold going into the hands of Lafayette with those super minions giving 90 gold. I see Steven's actually on the Herald now, and this could be a very, very strong Herald because this inhibitor tower is now down. They could be using it on the Nexus turret. However, Vayne is going to get caught out by this Volibear. Gets the condemn, but not the way you really want to be condemning there. Gangplank all coming out. However, just does so much damage. Are blown onto the Volibear, and now this is a 2v1 situation. Gangplank all comes out, and there is just nothing that Lafayette can do. 15-1, 12,000 gold lead, and this is not looking good at all for Lafayette. Steven does opt to take a back here. They do have Herald because they could be obviously setting up for that that last push into this towers, or they could be going for the classic sort of lawnmower strategy where you do take all outers, then all inners, then all inhib towers. Usually considered a much safer option. However, with their massive gold lead, any kill that has gotten onto this Lafayette team could potentially mean the end of the game. So they will have to be playing very, very, very carefully and making sure that all of their risks are calculated before making any sort of play. Zillion is going to be giving those levels to this Lafayette team, so they are going to be getting a little bit more levels to make up for their deficit. However, blue team does pick up the dragon. Steven's able to secure the second one, and now they are up dragons, up gold, and up towers, up pressure, obviously, with those towers gone. And this is exactly what you want to see if you're Steven Esports. Very well scaling team, finally getting into those power spikes. Vlad does have that Zhonya's, does have that Proto Belt, very good wave clear, very good sustainability in those team fights. Obviously, one of those Vlad combos, just throwing that ult down, and then Zhonya's, huge healing, huge ability to stall for his team, and especially with this team where you have that Gangplank, you have that Vayne, very fed, and obviously very good at stalling, for his carries. So Echo and Ornn here sitting in the bush trying to catch someone out. Maybe a little preempt on that W. However, they are going to be starting up the Baron at 20:48. Very early Baron. However, the team is obviously fed enough to do it. Let's see if we can get the start. Obviously, you can see those pings coming in. Do not have Killing Smite here. Maybe you want to be a little weary of where this Volibear is. They are going to be turning. And Zillion is going to get blown up before he can even ult. And now Gangplank teleports in. Uses ult before that, and now Vayne is looking for the chase down onto this Volibear. Her passive movement speed is just going to give her so much speed, and that is going to be a kill instantly. Bizless and Mordekaiser are going at each other in this ultimate, and actually Ornn is going to make it out alive, and this looks like it should be the end for Steven Esports here. Herald coming down from Steven, and yeah, this looks like it should be an end as Shoshana gets absolutely blown up, might not even live on the turret, and does get the kill onto this Vladimir. Turret destroyed. Herald is going to be charging another time here, and this does look like the end for game one of Lafayette versus Stevens. I see a little bit of PM coming out, getting those kills onto tower. Vlad actually thrown onto the tower, able to be shut down. That it is first, or second death of the game rather. But that is going to be an end for Steven Esports, and that is going to make this series 1-0 Stevens. Very, very good sort of blowout performance. The first ban off the table for Lafayette. Now on the blue side, they are going to be banning that Vayne. They do not want to see that again. It ran, really unchecked against their team. As we see the Aatrox come back out for Stevens. Completely content probably with their bans. Played a very good game. Nothing that really, punished them too hard in that first game. And, we should be seeing I would expect more of the same sort of comp. Obviously, very good scaling comp. Maybe they will be looking for a little bit more early game aggression, seeing how well their late game worked. However, we'll have to see in this draft as Kled does get banned again. So again, they are content with those same bans. Vladimir actually getting banned on the side of Lafayette as well. They don't want to be giving these scaling picks back over to Stevens, and obviously Ginger very, very comfortable on that Vladimir. So, they don't want to be giving that up. Uh, Again, Anivia banned away from Snoopy in this mid lane. Do not want to be giving him his picks as well either. So, we will be getting into a very, very good game as we do see the Singed picked up in this top lane for Foolish. And, that's a very interesting pick because it's something that is very good in solo queue, but mostly because in solo queue there isn't as much communication as you would see maybe in another game. As we see the Aphelios picked from Stevens Esports going over to Milvis in this bottom lane most likely. And Aphelios is another pick that obviously has been very, very contested in the pro scene and in solo queue right now. Just a very good pick. And just one thing to note, as you see, sort of this Rek'Sai hover and just even the Shen pick, there isn't a lot that you can do against a team like Stevens. They do have fairly wide champion pools on a lot of their players, especially in bot lane support. Support. I know Fizzlers plays a lot of positions, a lot of roles, a lot of everything. So Set picked up for this Lafayette team. Set obviously a very, very strong champion in solo queue, just like Aphelios. Maybe a little too strong, some would argue, as he has seen a lot of nerfs in that last patch. However, they weren't really enough to stop him from being, such a menace in this patch as well. Um, just a lot of good damage, a ton. With that grit passive stacking up, he gets a massive shield, massive true damage if he does hit in the center of his W. And, an ult that locks someone down and, basically drags them away from the fight is something that every champion would appreciate and every team certainly does appreciate. So, as we do see, Singe, Set, and MF are the first picks uh, for this Lafayette team. Fairly strong so far. Very good early game with the Misfortune. And you do have a little bit of scaling with Singe. Singe is not bad in the late game. Does a ton of damage and is very tanky later. But obviously does have some use early. Level 1 is very strong. Level 2 very strong on Singe. So just something to watch out for. As we do see, let's go Foolish. Let's go on that Singe. So, got to go fast too. Mordekaiser is the first ban of the second round for Stevens. Maybe they didn't really like what they saw in that top lane. Obviously, Mordekaiser very, very strong in solo queue, just like a lot of these champions are. So maybe we are having sort of a solo queue game right now. But you do see Rek'Sai, which is sort of not a very solo queue staple. Obviously, Adrian, a very good player on that Rek'Sai. Does have a lot of early game impact, so they are opting for a much earlier game team since that Vayne and Vlad did get banned. Should be a little bit of a relief to this Lafayette team that got basically smoked by this. Oh, what if you removed yourself? I wish that was a possible idea here, but the fans really need it just to stay motivated. And as we do see, Zillion is the last ban for Stevens. Maybe don't want to see anyone getting revived. Basically 6 lives in those team fights. Glass paper dummy thick. I would have to abstain my opinion there. No idea what the kid looks like, but glad we do have chat being very active here. As Syndra and Braum are the last picks for Stevens to match up against that Scion and Aurelion Sol from Lafayette. So Aurelion Sol is a champion that did get reworked a few patches ago. His W doesn't actually stay open forever now, which is something that I know as not really obviously an avid Aurelion Sol player, but just something that I did play him, in a few games afterward. It just does not feel as good as it should. Obviously, he did get a little bit of compensation with, you know, a little bit of extra damage on his stars and everything, but not something that a lot of the Aurelion Sol player base took, you know, too well. However, we do see um, that Singed is going maybe into that that support slot, which is something that, you know, would be a little bit crazy. We'll have to see in the game if they are going to sort of maybe lane swap. But as of now, it does look like Singed is going to be playing support here against this Aphelios Braum. So we'll actually have to see. This should be a very, very interesting game if this Singed does go into the bot lane. So we are seeing Aurelion Sol with Conquer. That actually is a sort of a newer choice. After the Conquer rework, he actually can stack it fairly well, you know, with his W, with his Q, and sort of weaved auto attacks. You know, you could be getting that Conquer up very fast. And Aurelion Sol, when fed and when able to actually survive in a team fight, does a ton of damage. So taking Conquer instead of this sort of safer phase rush, which, especially in the mid lane, allows him to escape ganks much easier. Maybe saw that Rek'Sai, and phase rush obviously not too good against the Rek'Sai knockup because a lot of your phase rush is going to be wasted in that knockup. Sion opting for Glacial Augment, maybe giving a little bit more strength to his ganks, and, you know, generally being a nuisance in the jungle. Set opting for Conquer as well. Aphelios running Conqueror too, so Aphelios usually runs Press the Attack. However, opting for the Conqueror build. Hextech Singed in the bot lane running Aftershock. His E does proc the Aftershock, however his W does not, so the pool will not proc Aftershock. It's not considered a CC ability, just a ground, so just another thing to sort of be aware of as we get this game started. 96% loaded in. Electrocute on Syndra will be doing a ton of damage early game, late game, mid game, everywhere. Syndra just a very, very strong pick, very strong blind pick as well, and just a very strong pick into a lot of mages. They don't really have the health or the sort of escape tools to get away from a Syndra. If I was Lafayette, however, I would be looking for that Aurelion Sol to roam into the top and bot lane. Something like the Singe W, where he grounds them into the Aurelion Sol roam with his E very, very quickly. I believe it's his E. Yeah, it's his E. But yeah, the Aurelion Sol E, sort of bringing him into another lane, you know, within seconds is obviously a very strong roam potential. And with the Singe ground, you know, you could be unable to flash out of anything like that. So, you know, we have to be wary of, Stevens has to be wary of that, you know, roaming potential. Whereas Syndra, very slow champion, unable to really follow that roam. We are finally loaded in. Stevens on this red side, Lafayette on the blue side, and we are finally onto the rift. Indie Edits, welcome to the stream. Glad to see everyone is watching. Maybe looks like an invade from this Lafayette team. Doesn't look like they were spotted on that invade. Braum maybe getting a little caught. Does see them ward dropped into that bush. They are able to clear it, so no more vision in that bush. 1 ward down and 10 gold up for Lafayette. Not that bad of a start as they do go back. However, Rek'Sai is invaded in this top side. Maybe looking for something. Does ward deep. Not going to be spotted by this set, so Rek'Sai does look like she will be starting on that top side red. Rek'Sai very, very good clear early game from Steven's teams. I'm honestly not very sure about that Sion jungle pick, or again that Singe support, but we will have to see how they play this out, as we do get a little bit of a mastery spam from the side of Lafayette. Again, that early aggression that Sol has, able to push that wave out so quickly, and a lot of sets, as I was saying in the pregame, they do look for that dark seal early game back. As in chat, we have a little bit of banter coming back and forth. Set does say, take this to game 3 and let me play my champs. So we will see actually if Lafayette can force this game 3, and maybe his champs don't get banned in that game. as Aurelion Sol again pushing this wave fairly hard. Syndra getting a little bit of poke down. Electrocute proc does come out. That is a very, very good trade for Stevens. As said, able to use his W to just CS from whatever range. Aurelion Sol does get a proc off. Now chasing the Syndra down. A lot of damage. Not able to get any kill for either side. But one thing to note in this mid lane, Syndra does have Doran's Ring and those potions. However, Sol does have Corrupting Pod, so he is actually winning even trades now. Hello, Anna, the other Anna. We do seem to have it in Anna fight in this lane. However, Rek'Sai is ganking this mid lane. Rek'Sai flashes for it, and Rek'Sai able to secure the kill. Halo Blade so strong early game. However, in the top lane, Set is fighting against his bottom lane aggression too as well. Singe looking for this Aphelios Sion, almost there, but as I was saying, not much that Sion can do on these early game ganks before 6. He doesn't really have that sort of lockdown CC or mobility to get into position, and unable to get anything accomplished in this lane. So that is going to be a trade for Stevens that they are going to take every single day. Set looking for early aggression onto the Shen as well. Shen does drop his sword, and that is going to prevent him from getting any auto attack damage done to him, as a massive wave is pushing into this Shen here. Maybe 10 minions, and that means that if Shen can CS this well, he is going to be up a fairly big amount of gold onto this Set. Aphelios and them also getting a nice wave pushed into them to be a decent amount of XP. Sion taking this Scuttle Crab, trying to secure the second Scuttle. Obviously don't want to get double scuttled on any champion. As MF and Singe use this early game aggression to push this team in. Rek'Sai getting invaded a little bit by this Aurelion Sol, looking for that deep vision, does get a ward near those Raptors. As Set and Shen go back to trading in this top lane. A little bit of a free setup by Shen. Might not be able to hold due to this grit from Set, but Aphelios again, or rather Aurelion Sol in this mid lane, not having a good time into this Syndra. Just has a lot of poke, and now Syndra flash ignites, and that is going to be another kill in the mid lane. And that is going to be a 1-0-1 Syndra. 1-0 in the mid lane, 1-0 on the jungler, and this looks like there could be a bottom gank about to happen here. As we zoom down to here, they do have a ward in that bush, so Rek'Sai does have to back off. However, Sion is going to grab a little bit of CS in the mid lane, maybe make up a little bit of his deficit, while Set and Shen continue to just go very, very aggressive at each other in this top lane. Set taking a lot of damage, Shen taking a lot of damage. Set does have no grit right now, however, a grass proc gotten off onto Shen, and maybe a kill, but not enough. The W was not up for this Set, and that means that there will be no kill in this top side. Shen looking to back, as Set does push this wave in, trying to get as much of a gold and CS lead in this top side. However, Shen does have that TP available to him, and he will be TPing into lane here, forcing Set to back off. Does not have the health to simply contest with that, as MF does land a Q. Unfortunately not empowered because the minion did not die, but is able to get a little bit of poke onto the ADC. They are too far pushed. This Aurelion Sol is looking very, very hard for a gank here. There is no warding, so he could be getting a kill here if he does play this right. And he does go for it now. He is going to set that up, and is a double stun from Aurelion Sol. Well played by Aurelion Sol. The Aurelion Sol is not going to be able to chase him down, but the Ignite does take him out. Aurelion Sol picked up that kill in a very, very well executed gank. Very patient in this bot lane from Lafayette, and they are making a case for themselves for this Singe support. Absolutely incredible gank. Very patient, and that's something you don't really see much in solo queue. Is that Aurelion Sol was quote-unquote wasting a lot of time in that bot lane, looking for a really good gank, but as I say that, a solo kill onto the Sion. Maybe didn't expect that huge amount of burst damage from this Syndra, but she's already on, she's 2-0-1 now, and that could be a huge, huge issue for Lafayette. Rek'Sai starting up this dragon now. They know that there is no mid lane, or rather jungler alive, so nothing to really contest that smite. However, Aurelion Sol alive and looking for this mid lane. Singe is being a very, very big nuisance right now. A huge amount of damage bursted onto him, and that is Rek'Sai and Braum getting the kill onto him. as he does still have Smite available in that jungler slot. Set and Shen back to fighting in this top lane, and red team is able to secure the dragon against Lafayette. So that is going to be a first dragon over to Stevens Esports. About a 1.5k gold difference between the two teams right now. So a little bit of a gap growing, but again, as I say that, Rek'Sai ganks, but counter gank coming out from the Scion, able to pick up the kill onto the Aurelion Sol, but the smite coming out from this Scion, able to get a huge amount of slow onto this Syndra. Shen is able to ult in. Scion does not have flash, and now he's in a little bit of trouble here. The turn from Stevens might be very bad. Stun able to come out from the Syndra. Grasp procs coming out. Set unable to roam in time for this, and that is going to be a kill over to the Shen. Scion passive chasing the Syndra, but there is a red buff on that Shen right now, rather. So unable to catch up to her. And that is going to be a 2,000 gold difference, 2.1 thousand gold difference for Stevens Esports. Set does pick up a plate in this top tower. And it looks like Braum is actually maybe a little bit of danger himself as he starts getting chased down. Conquer is procced for this Aurelion Sol. Not able to make anything of it again in this top lane. A ton of damage coming out. Shen rather actually able to dodge that sort of ultimate from Set rather. That huge stack grit bonus, and Set does ult him toward tower, but unable to get much of anything done. Aurelion Sol and Scion both here, maybe trying to get this gank, but aren't able to find anything, and maybe just going to push this wave in, so that Shen is going to have a little bit more of a difficult time farming it. However, they decide to back. Scion never back, needed to die for a quick back. That is true, he did get a very quick back off that play, but not really, I guess, what you would really want from a back. Obviously, you don't want to give that gold. Rek'Sai looking for a dive here, maybe onto this Aurelion Sol, able to get a lot of plates maybe off of this play as Aurelion Sol tries to desperately fight these two people off. His lane is just a fiesta of this jungler. Rek'Sai have been very active on the ganks. Very good early game jungler, very fast clear, and just generally very good gank assist. As we see Shen able to get that taunt onto this Set, and with that huge wave built up, still is unable to get any damage onto this Shen, and that is going to be a solo kill in the top lane. And another kill maybe in this mid lane. The flash auto does get the kill. And that is going to be another kill for Stevens Esports. 2-8 right now, 3,000 gold almost differential at 950. So again, Stevens showing how dominant they are in this game, able to play either scaling comps, not scaling comps. Syndra getting a little caught. GLP is built. Does get the slow onto Scion. Unable to catch Syndra completely with the ult. And she is going to just back off that. Let's see, in this bot lane, they are pushing very, very hard. Maybe looking for a back themselves. They do have that BF. Maybe looking close to another item. Milvus looking very aggressive. Able to get a lot of damage with that Chakram weapon. But Aurelion Sol is coming from base right now. Huge ultimate. Only able to stun Braum. But Milvus is caught very hard. That's a lot of damage being done. Braum looking for this kill onto MF, trying to trade, does trade, flashes out, incredible flash. Maybe able to survive here as Rek'Sai gets a knockup and might be able to kill Singed here. Singed at 1 health. R doesn't even need to go off, and Singed is going to die from the burn damage on red buff. So another kill onto Stevens, another 2 kills onto Stevens, and that was a 2-for-1. A lot of time wasted. Syndra able to get basically a free back because no one is pushing in that mid lane tower. And that's a huge lead for Syndra now. As you can see, 4 kills onto her at just 11 minutes. 80 CS up 30 CS, which is around 2 kills of gold. And this could be very, very dangerous. She might be one-shotting even Scion after he gets items. So as you see, Syndra able to 1 health on it and almost gets that stolen by Rek'Sai. But blue buff is given over to the mid laner. Set going to town on those turret platings in the top lane. Still 3 minutes left of those turret plates. Ginger's fans going off in chat, making some noise for their favorite mid laner other than me. Very not cocky or anything. Again, Ginger, very good player. Very wide champion pool, and is playing very well this game. As we see another solo kill from Ginger, and he is just having a field day with this Aurelion Soul pick. Absolutely decimating this mid lane, and this could be a very, very snowbally game. Obviously, 5 kills on now. Dragon coming up again. Might be able to secure a second one. However, Singe is 6 now. That might help him out a lot. That R is very strong. Gives him a lot of mana regen, a lot of health regen, movement speed, everything you could ask for AP. I mean, it's a huge buff for him, but not really going to be able to do much here against this sort of unified Stevens front. As 4 of them take the dragon together. Very good smite onto the dragon, just in case. And it looks like they might be looking for an invade here. They do see this as the Infernal comes up. The smite does misses, but able to get it. Has to flash out. Is caught a little bit on this Rek'Sai. Gets the flash up. R's unable to do anything. Gets a little bit caught out there. Maybe a little surprised by that Infernal changing the map, opening up that passageway, but a little bit of a troll move there from Adrian. Ginger able to pick up the kill. The GLP does proc that electrocute, and now this bot lane is looking for something. There are 4 people here. Aphelios doing a ton of damage. This set TP is coming out, but maybe it might be a little bit too late. As Set does look for this Braum. Shen is there to protect him as well, but Syndra is chasing down this Singe, able to get the stun off. Doesn't have any more sort of damage, but the Q and the Ignite come back up, and they are able to get that kill onto Singe as well. Gold differential is now at 5,000 gold, as Weaponized is in a very, very bad spot. However, Set is going to get a double kill with that W. As I was saying, triple kill. That champion is absolutely overtuned, and he is going to get a very, very incredible triple kill on that Set. Not what Stevens wanted, but they are going to get a lot more gold onto that Syndra now. And that is a huge play by this Set, trying to keep Lafayette in this. Foolish is, playing very, very well right now. Hasn't really died too much in this game. Farming very well, getting a lot of plates off that top turret. But it does look like Stevens will still be able to take that or this first turret rather. Aurelion Soul unable to sort of defend that. And now Aurelion Soul might be caught out a little bit with that GLP, unable to actually secure it, but it looks like there aren't enough minions for the trade back in towers in this bot lane. You can't be my favorite mid laner if you're not on the team. I was on the team, but I was support. So there is that, but yeah, now obviously a full-time coach for Stevens. Has a gold lead, has now widened to 5,000 gold. MF gets caught by that Braum Q, has to heal. Concussive Blast obviously very strong with the Aphelios, has a ton of lockdown potential with the Aphelion Soul root, or Aphelios rooting. I'm gonna be messing that up all day, all game. Aphelios, Aurelion Soul, who even knows anymore? A lot of champions coming out, but 4.4 thousand gold difference right now. 2 dragons up for Stevens at this 15-minute mark. Just so you can see the items, we have a Titanic Hydra onto the Shen, Trinity Force finish onto the Set, obviously a huge spike for him. And Rek'Sai, as I said, Rek'Sai is looking for a gank, does not find it there, looks for the gank around, again unable to find that as well. But now maybe Lafayette is looking for something themselves. Sin does miss that. Aurelion Soul rather ult. There is a root possibility from this. Sin doesn't get the root in time though, and now Rek'Sai is under tower. A ton of damage from that MF ult onto the other 2 as well. But there is going to be an ult coming out from Syndra, legendary on that Syndra now. And Sion is looking maybe to clean up a little bit here, does have his ult. But Syndra does get another kill, and Sion is going to be able to, unable to turn that fast. The turning radius on that car is just not enough, as Foolish and Weaponized rather are fighting in that top lane still. This bottom turret does not look healthy, neither does this top turret for Stevens, so might be a turret trade in about, a few seconds. But as you can see, this has been a very bloody game. 25 kills in just 16 minutes. That's like a kill and a half a minute. You don't really see that in any, LCS, even in other sort of other games. But it's just been very, very, very aggressive on both sides. They both have very strong early games. With that Rek'Sai having to force things, MF very strong in that early game. Set just being a beast all around. So both teams here are fine with just fighting. Set does miss that cannon. full charge on this Shen, unable to actually get any sort of taunt going. Obviously. But anyways, as we get into the 17-minute mark, the next dragon is spawning in under 1 minute. And this is the third dragon. Third dragon is very important. Although it isn't soul, it does allow you the opportunity to sort of trade Baron for a soul if it's good enough. I see Shen take a sneaky back there. But yeah, as I was saying, that fourth dragon, or that third dragon rather, is very important. If you trade Baron for a soul, it isn't that bad of an option, especially with dragons sort of for this team. Maybe even you know, an Infernal Dragon, get a little bit more damage onto that Syndra. A Mountain Dragon, obviously, always good. Lots of shielding. Ocean Dragon, again, strong as well. Cloud is a little bit weak, but again, those souls are just strong in general. As you see, Syndra may be able to get a solo kill, and does get the solo kill off. As you see, Set looking for this tower finish, does get the tower finish. A ton of Brit onto that. In bot lane, this was getting caught as well by 3 members of this team. Unable to get away. As you see, Shen kill in the top lane, and Syndra get a kill onto that tower in mid lane. So, able to get that kill. I'm actually going to jump back for a second here just to see the end of this fight. A lot going on at once in this top lane. As you can see, a lot of minions Set looking to finish this tower here. And that cannon lasts just long enough, but unable to actually sort of get away from this Shen. Does get the ult off, but Shen is just so strong with that Titanic Hydra that they're unable to do anything, and Dragon is going to fall to the favor of Steven's Esports. That is the more, very important third dragon, as Syndra is pushing this mid tower down as well. So, 6k gold lead, very obviously not as large of a differential as last time, but again, still a huge difference. Flash coming out from this Scion, but does get the flash blown by Syndra. Very good timing on that E from Syndra to sort of push him away. After that flash does finish. So Shen does push his way in the top lane, and that means that Syndra, 10-0-4 right now, is going to be able to get a massive back. As you see, both needlessly large rods picked up on the Syndra, and she is 1100 gold away from finishing this Rabadon's death cap that she is surely working towards right now. And that would be a huge spike. Actually, if you take a look at this Aurelion Sol CS, not much CS picked up. He's been doing a lot of roaming, trying to help those other lanes get ahead. He obviously can't really stand in lane that much because Syndra is just so much stronger right now. But unable to get anything really started in these other lanes. Rek'Sai very strong at that counter, getting moved around the map very fast with those tunnels. So, this is something that, Steven might have been thinking about in their draft. Hint, they were. I do have the, insider info here. But yeah, very strong. Rek'Sai, very good pick into these sort of teams with those roaming mid laners. And Ginger picking up another kill. Just too much damage on this Syndra now, and they are not going to be able to stop him. Four players in this mid lane, looking for him. One gets killed, and now that 3v1 becomes very dangerous. And with 3 people in those side lanes, there's not much they can do with these side these side towers and turrets and everything. They're forced to just sort of play around that mid lane. Braum looking, and Braum does get the steal onto the buff, or onto the scuttle rather. Set forced to flash out, concussive blows almost procs. And this bot lane second tier tower looks like it will be going down as well. Braum misses that Q there. Syndra looking for this blue buff, picks it up, but is probably going to be unable to secure it. As Aurelion Sol and MF match this. But Aphelios rather, able to take that tier 1 in the top lane. Zion looking for the ult here, maybe looking to punish that tower take on the Aphelios. Able to get that smite off, but again, Ginger and Aphelios do so much damage. Zed is getting chased down by the Syndra now. Very slow, and he gets stunned, and he's going to be stunned up and knocked up and killed. Absolute murder from the side of Stevens, making sure that everyone knows that this first game of theirs was not a fluke, as Rek'Sai now going for a solo kill onto the Aurelion Sol. Aurelion Sol has to flash away. Ignite drops from the Aurelion Sol onto that Rek'Sai. Shen dropping his ult to try to get into this fight, unable to get there in time. But this is an absolute stomp now. Again, another 11,000 gold difference from Steven Esports, absolutely destroying this Lafayette team right now. Lafayette has to make some sort of big play here, get those shutdowns. As you can see, shutdown, 1,000 gold shutdown onto that Syndra. I'm sure after that shutdown too, there would be another one behind it. 600 gold shutdown onto that Shen, and just in general, they need to be getting this gold. The Syndra is faker comments coming out. We don't need to feed Ginger's ego anymore, but obviously he's having himself a great game. As you see, Aphelios gets the root onto the set, trying to get the Shen out, is able to get that out. And yeah, just a great game playing through this mid lane. Ginger is just killing this Aurelion Soul, up a ton of CS, stacking his blue, and getting the job done. Actually does have 3 items complete with his boots not included. That Leandries for that Scion. Rabadon's finished as well, and that GLP just for a little extra catch potential. And you know, Lafayette is just being driven back into their base right now. Might be looking toward this Baron on Steven's side. They don't have the fastest Baron take. Aphelios obviously isn't, you know, the best Baron taker, but he's not bad at it, especially if he does invest into those attack speed buffs. They could be looking for this soul as well, as you see. They are looking toward this bot side. Oh my god, there's so much damage being done. Double kill for the Syndra. Flashes that very, very good, and that is going to be a triple kill out of Ginger. Someone get the clip, but he is going to get caught maybe by this Scion. Scion unable to do any damage to Ginger though, and that is going to be a clean triple kill for him. Dragon is going to be picked up, and that is going to be the Infernal Soul. Onto Steven's side. And even, you know, this Thornmail coming out from Shen, Leandries, you know, Black Cleaver, all of this sort of tank. A lot of health being built by Steven, and that's going to make it even harder for Lafayette to find these really, really easy picks. Scion, again, doesn't have the sort of damage that he wants. Only Youmu's completed from him. Jungler item not even finished yet. So, Steven is going to be going for this Baron. A ton of damage now. You know, and they're going to be able to finish this very, very quickly. Just around 20-second finish. Red team does slay the Baron Nashor. Shen is going to get caught here, but at what cost? Shen is surviving for so long and almost gets a trade onto the Misfortune. 1 health remaining as Steven's Esports does back and use that sort of extra gold that they do have. Gold lead is up to 13,000 now. And, you know, it's 6 towers to 1 for Dragons. Infernal Soul. This is not looking like a, you know, a game that they really want to take Lafayette. And if Stevens can finish this, you know, this will be a 2-0, a very quick 2-0 at that. With both games ended in, you know, just over 20 minutes. As you can see, very good push into this by this very, very fed Syndra. Huge pushing potential if she is very fed. And again, good catch potential with the GLP as well. Again, welcome to all the 30 people watching as we see Steven's Esports. Absolutely, you know, you can't help but smile. You know, just absolutely dominating in 2 games in a row. You know, really makes you feel good. As they do look for this inhibitor turret. Unable to find anyone on that Braum Q, but they are getting a lot of damage onto this tower now. Shen is splitting in that bot lane. They will be looking for these inhibitor turrets to break, and if one inhibitor turret goes down, or if one member of this team goes down, MF getting very close there. They can be looking for an end here. Lots of damage coming in. Caught on that Infernal Soul, doing a lot of damage now, especially on that Syndra with that Rabadon. They, you know, synergize so well. And this is going to have to be the last stand for Lafayette. It's now or never. And they are looking maybe for this mid lane, a little bit caught out here. Syndra looking for to get burned here. A huge ult by the MF, shut down by Set. However, it doesn't look like it will be enough. As the Stevens team chases down the stragglers, Aphelios doing so much damage by himself. Syndra did get a lot of damage off before. That W is stacked, but it is not going to be enough as Shen tanks tower and is able to get out, and that is going to be a huge amount of damage onto these Nexus turrets. And finally, team is maybe going to be able to find this end. 26-25 around, and that is going to feel good for Stevens there. 2-0 victory against this team. And I'm actually going to be looking maybe for Ginger here, maybe get a little bit of an interview in before everyone leaves, but let me see what the team is doing here. Okay, Ginger, so obviously you played very well in both games there. Uh, just wanted to say congratulations on the win. Obviously, your coach must be very proud.
Oh, I'm sure he is. It's all for him.
Any words you'd like to say to the 30 people watching us right now?
Yeah, GG easy, you know?
Oh, God. Anyways, yeah, a lot of damage done that game. 34,000 damage on that Syndra. Basically more than their entire team combined. And I guess what was your thought when you saw that Aurelion Sol picked? Was there any sort of, just saying like, oh, I'm going to pick the Syndra, I'm going to beat him in lane, and I'm just going to, I'm going to dominate him. What was the idea behind that Syndra pick?
Well, it's just a really strong champion right now. And she was, they left her open. They decided to ban my Vlad that I played last game. And we wanted to play an early game team this time. And really, Adrian, the jungler, put a really good gank in to get me ahead. And after that, it's just kind of over for him.
Yeah, I agree. Very good ganks out of Adrian as well. But thank you for your time, and thank you for that absolute spectacle in that second game. I'm going to let you get back to it, but for now, I'm going to be signing off of the stream. Everyone, thanks for watching. Thanks for joining us. And, hope you had a good time watching. I'll see you guys next week. And, yeah, I hope you guys tune in again. GG, everyone. And, 2-round hero, a.k.a. Jared, signing out.